So let me tell you the story of the world's tallest statue. But this isn't just about being tall. It's a story about a nation that was born out of complete chaos. A leader with a will of, well, pure iron, and a foundation that was literally built from the tools of millions of regular people. Let's dive in to how 565 separate kingdoms became one incredible modern marvel. Now look, this quote might be more legend than actual history, but it just perfectly nails the insane ambition of this whole project. It gives you a little taste of the monumental challenge someone faced in trying to unite this huge divided land, a task that, you could say, required a leader of immense stature. To really get why anyone would build a statue this massive, we've got to rewind the clock. The year is 1947, and India is about to come face to face with a problem of truly epic proportions. So picture this. For more than 200 years, the British ruled the Indian subcontinent. Then, in 1947, after a long, hard-fought struggle, India finally gets its independence. But right in the middle of all the celebrations, this colossal problem appears. See, the British didn't leave behind one single unified country. Nope, they left behind a puzzle. This is the number that was probably giving the new leaders of India nightmares. 565. That's how many independent princely states were just scattered all across the map. These were little kingdoms, basically, each with their own local monarch who had been under the British, but were now, all of a sudden, totally free to do their own thing. And this metaphor? It's perfect. It wasn't just a few states here and there. It was a map that was completely shattered into hundreds of tiny, self-governing pieces. Each one had its own ruler, its own agenda, and the potential to just tear the newborn nation apart before it even had a chance to get on its feet. This really gets at the immediate danger, right? Every single one of these 565 rulers could have just said, you know what, I'm good, we'll stay independent. Imagine the chaos. Hundreds of separate armies, different kinds of money, constant fights over borders. It was a recipe for absolute disaster. So who do you call when you have a 565-piece political puzzle that's about to explode? Well, you call the man who would go down in history as India's Iron Man. And in walks Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, India's very first deputy prime minister. This was his job, this monumental, almost impossible task of convincing all these rulers to join the new nation. And his approach? Let's just say it was direct. He made it crystal clear that staying separate just wasn't an option. So how on earth did he actually do it? Well, he didn't just have one trick up his sleeve. He used this brilliant combination of strategies. He'd appeal to their patriotism, he'd use incredibly skilled diplomacy to negotiate with them, and, when he really needed to, he'd gently but firmly remind them that the new Indian army was a thing. And for pulling off this unbelievable feat, for actually solving this insane 565-piece puzzle and forging a single nation out of the chaos, he earned that legendary nickname, the Iron Man of India, and man, did he earn it. Okay, let's fast forward. We're in the 21st century now. Decades after his death, a plan starts to form to create a tribute that's actually worthy of Patel's achievement. And when they said monumental, they were not kidding. They took that word very, very literally. They didn't just want a big statue. They wanted the biggest statue in the world. And you can see it right here on this chart. The Statue of Unity at 182 meters tall doesn't just squeak by the competition. No way. It absolutely towers over the previous record holders. Which, of course, brings up a massive engineering problem. To hold up a structure that size, you need a foundation that is incredibly strong. So where do you get the mind-boggling amount of material, especially all the iron you'd need for the reinforcement? And the solution they came up with? Oh, it was just a stroke of genius. It was called the Loha Campaign, which means the Iron Campaign. Instead of just buying new materials, they put out a call to the very people Patel had united. Farmers from every single corner of India were asked to donate their old, used, rusted farm tools. And the response? It was absolutely overwhelming. But this campaign wasn't just a practical way to get a bunch of scrap metal. It was so much more than that. It was this profoundly symbolic act that connected the very construction of the statue directly to the legacy of the man it honored. I mean, think about it. The actual tools that farmers used to cultivate the land were collected, melted down, and literally became the foundation of the monument. It's the perfect metaphor, isn't it? The statue's strength was built from the ground up on the contributions of the very people Patel had brought together. The final result, which was inaugurated back in 2018, is just staggering. A 182-meter statue that now stands as a landmark for a unified nation of over 3.2 million square kilometers, the exact nation Patel worked so hard to stitch together. So when you get right down to it, the Statue of Unity is way more than just a record-breaking piece of engineering. It's a physical embodiment, a giant towering symbol of that original, incredibly difficult, and absolutely essential act of stitching a fragmented country into a single, unified whole. And that kind of leaves us with a final thought to chew on. The story of this statue, built from the very tools of its people, poses a really fascinating question. If a nation's real strength truly does come from the ground up, from its people, then what's the best way to remember and honor that collective power?